I just did it enough so I could project my tracing on it. And so essentially that's my finished profile at the bottom of my door, even though the rest of it isn't finished. I just worked it down so that I could wedge it in here and use it to project off of. We have to project our molding out here. Our molding is going to mimic this, like this. And so we need to, there's going to be a little fillet right here. Where if this is the curve of our door, this is the projected curve of our molding. If you actually take another little concentric circle inside there, it becomes very, very steep and pointy and it looks weird. And so you have to stretch it out a little bit. The piece that's going to be my baseboard, I'll make a mark where the face of my drawers and my doors occur. Then I'll make another scribe mark at my maximum projection of the face. So I've got two little lines that are coming across here, just about 1/8 of an inch different from each other. And I'll scribe that onto here. And this is going to give me my little fillet. And so I will set my carbon paper here, and I'll take my little dividers, and I will just run along the front of my drawers and around the curves, and I'll get that little projection out from the drawer front. You want to actually mark the location of your drawer, where it really sits. Because when you go to work this fillet, you'll be able to judge the width and see that it's projecting correctly off of your actual drawer fronts. Our second projection is actually the projection of the OG molding itself. I said 3/4 plus this little 1/8, whatever that was. So it's going to be the OG molding plus the width of my little fillet. It's going to be somewhere around a little under 7/8 total. So that's my total projection of this molding. That's as far out as
that's what you're cutting.
That's what I'm going to bandsaw to now. This is the line I'm making now. This is the furthest projection out from, at the furthest point, it's going to be off the high bumps of the drawer. So this is going to be the furthest out. The furthest in it's going to be is projected out from the hollow of the door. For my outside corner, or it's actually an inside corner here, I know where the point springs off of. It comes right off of the corner here. And I know where it ends up out here, because I've got the intersection of the straight line, the intersection of my straight line here, and my curved line coming here, so I have a distinct point here. And what you can do then is you can take some bevel, and you can figure out, you can just connect the dots here, the inside curve, the inside point, and the outside point, and you can get your projection line. And so that's going to be connecting the inside corner and the outside intersection of your two lines. So you're going to get that line. And sometimes doing it this way is really good because you can really see your line. And you can,
right now you're just following to a line.
I'm following to my line. So this is a good way to do it because you can always see your line. It's a little bit trickier to see exactly what you're doing this way than the other way. But just for the sake of you being able to see what I'm doing, I'll do it this way. So what I'm trying to do is get rid of my bandsaw marks. Hopefully I've sawed it and left my line, so once I get rid of these bandsaw marks, I should, in theory, be at my line. So I'll do a section of this. When you're filing, you always want to file on a diagonal, back and forth like this. Don't ever file like this because you're going to tend to get ripples. I'm also filing up because this part's going to get carved away. So if I blow some chips off the top, it's no big deal. If I come this way and I take a chip off, that's an edge that you're going to have to live with. This top edge is going to be long gone. So file from the floor up if you can. Again, I'm always removing these things. I'm never just running it straight. It'll give you a much better surface. If you wet it, it'll scrape a lot better. Like that. When you're scraping an inside curve, just push the scraper down. Don't necessarily try to follow the curve. If you just push it down, it'll follow the curve. Like that. So I can use this to just clean up these surfaces. So I'm marking with a marking gauge on the right side. The bottommost edge of my OG molding. So this will give me a visible line to carve to. So the first thing I'm going to do is carve my 1/16 of an inch down at my fillet line here to get that first step. So in this case, I'm going to go at it with a V tool. I'm going to leave my inside wing of my V tool perpendicular. So that will be my line, and I'll let the other one cut wherever it happens to cut.
It doesn't need it. Of course it needs some. It doesn't burn. You just have to, it'll burn if you use a heavy touch. You keep at it for a long time. No. I try not to use water. You can get microfractures. So if you're going to rough out, yeah, use water to cool it out. To get toward the final stuff, do not use water on any steel.
Why is that?
You'll get microfractures at the edge. It makes the steel more likely to chip at the edge.
Why does the water do that? So I'm taking this and I'm steering it around and I'm sort of guessing at a 1/16 of an inch in depth. I'm just running it along my line here, running into oncoming grain here. That's why you hear that chipping sound. So when I get it close, I'm just going to do a section over here. I'm not going to cover the whole thing today. Do a section so we have an inside and an outside. And this one past the line, round way. So I'm going to get this close, like that, and then I can take router plate.
You make better with first.
And so I'm just taking this down. I'm pivoting it on one edge, also to keep this thing from rocking. Otherwise, I'll get an uneven surface, even though I only need about 1/8 of an inch of good surface. The grain just switched on me right here, so that's why I'm coming back in this direction. The trouble with mahogany too is it is kind of difficult to see the pencil lines. It does get away from you. You might not have anything to glue back on. So this will get me to my line on the flat anyway here. And the file there. Here I'm taking a 2-inch chisel. I'm just going to chop to my line. The flat one. And just chop to my line on the curves. I'm only going a 1/16 down, so it's pretty easy just to chop this in. And then the inside curve here is about a 7/20. I just happened to discover. I can chop that in and get the inside curve there too. And I'm starting here. Let's say that's my fillet. I'm ending here. And I know that my OG goes like that, for instance. What I'm looking for is a gouge that will give me that bottom of the curve, and another one that will give me the top of the curve. I know I'm starting on my pencil line, and I'm exiting up here. So I need to know what that exit line is back along here. Like so. I can sort of connect the dots here. So that's the top where the top of the curve is going to exit. I'm going to cut blood everywhere. From one line to the next, like that. That's essentially a stock cut. I can connect these dots with a straight chamfer. This is how I carve most molding, even big cornice moldings for highboys and stuff. You want to pay attention to the grain because you don't want it to all of a sudden dive on you and get a surprise. Take this out. This is where that stop cut comes in handy. My cut coming this way, it's going to die right there. This isn't exactly the right curve, but just to show you what Mike was asking, if you did have the right curve for that, that's a G. Here. Then I'll turn it on edge, and I'll use the flat. That is giving me a pretty nice line. It's smoother if I push it. I won't get any mallet bounce out of it at all. The trick is to keep it at the angle so that your bevel is parallel with the work. I can't push it like this because it'll just exit. And if it's too steep, it'll die. I'm using this hand as a fence. This should flow right into the bottom of the fillet and then connect with the curve of the rest of my OG. Now I can get close to here, but I'm probably going to rely on my scraper to. But right now I can use this to connect the rounded part of the OG. So I'm going from the top to somewhere midway down in my previous curve here. It's in there somewhere.
Can you do everything with back fence?
Can you do everything with back fence? Yeah, but you don't want it. Why? So now, we're working pretty well. The other thing you can do is you can grind scrapers that will just scrape a portion of the molding, because you can really get a nice sharp transition. It looks like a miter. And instead you keep it flat on the molding so you get a nice flat approach.